check on the page. There we go. We are online, so it means that people are now seeing the activeness of the page.
We will be starting in a minute, and apologies for not telling you, but you can check your mic if you can hear us. And if you cannot hear us, you can just let us know. If I can check those who have tuned on Zoom, can you hear us?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome everyone. And I hope you had a wonderful Easter, and that you managed to take your time to join us. It was a bit of a difficult one. You know, you have to strike a balance between the fact that people will either be at work if we take time during the time of work, and also the holiday today, the fact that people would want to go on a holiday. We really appreciate that. But what's good is the fact that we will be having this online. So those who are not able to join, they will be able to join us later. Formally, let me welcome you. My name is Albert Jeleni, President of the Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have called this meeting today, and we call it the media briefing. And on the journey that we are taking legal action against Seda for reneging on the mining incubation agreement that they have with the Lcci. And of course, I have had so many comments from people. Are we too brave? Are we taking Seda on? No, we're not too brave. We're not taking Seda on. We are implementing the contract. The contract says if there are disputes, there are legal steps that must be taken. We are merely just doing what the contract says. So we're at the point where there are disputes, and we therefore need to exercise that. But having gotten these comments from various people, it also got me worried, colleagues, that it means that many people are not exercising their contractual rights. Because so many people, you know, they were saying, are we taking Seda on? Aren't you afraid of taking Seda on? And I go like, but everything we do is on a contract, and the contract stipulates that at some point when we're not happy with the marriage, we can take legal action. And that's what we're doing. We're simply exercising the rights as enshrined in the Constitution of South Africa. With those words, I welcome you all. Please feel free. We're gonna give you an opportunity to be asking questions at the end of my presentation. During the presentation, if you have got something to say, you can just type it in. It's allowed, whether you are watching via our YouTube or you are on Zoom. And we have got our team here who will be consolidating all your questions. But I'll go through my presentation until the end before we can take your questions or consider them. And we are doing this, colleagues, in the interest of transparency. This is critical. So we went out at some point and said we have got a contract with Seda. And we went out, we said we have got various activities that we're doing. So if we are fighting as well, we must come back and tell the people, hey, there are problems. We are taking legal action. But this is critical because this project itself is for the benefit of the greater community. And hence we call it a media briefing. Everyone who is affected must be aware of this, but particularly SMMEs and the youth and the women who are desperately looking for jobs. And they were hopeful that out of this initiative, they're going to have those jobs. We also do not want to leave a room for speculation amongst our partners and associates and beneficiaries as well. So we thought it's wise to have this media briefing. My colleagues, I must admit that this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life as the leader of the chamber. And with my colleagues as well, I think for the first time we have to admit publicly that one of the institutions tasked with a very big task development, it's failures. If I were to use the words that I had at some point, I would say that we are riding a dead horse. The horse is dead and we are busy riding it. And we won't get anywhere except that we continue to think. And that's where we are. We can boldly say that Steve is failing us dismally. And as you will see through the presentation, the great length at which they will go to sabotage the economy, to kill the economy, to suppress the SMMEs, and to hijack the transformation agenda. I have put a little bit of a guide in terms of what I want to talk about. And it's about 5 major issues that I'm going to be touching on. We're going to give a background. We're going to indicate the various responses that we have in terms of the letter that you saw when we circulated a media statement. When we circulated our media statement, we attached the letter that was coming. We're going to take you through the journey since we signed the contract with Seda, and we're going to tell you where we are. And we will try and make sense of why these things are happening. Why is Seda doing this to us? Why is Seda doing this to the business community? And we will have a way forward. And perhaps at this point, I should stop to give, particularly given that we are in an election year. So many people who want to take advantage of this information and want to use it for electioneering. Colleagues, what is happening or the dismal failure in Seda has got nothing to do with which political party is in charge. This could happen with any political party. So don't take this message for electioneering in any way whatsoever. In actual fact, these things are happening because we as the citizens, we are quiet. So even if you get the new government, the new president, or you get new democracy, if we do not take institutions to the same thing would happen. Please don't use this for electioneering. Anyone who calls this for electioneering, just tell them to come and I'll give them politics 101. So where we are at this point in time, it's not about the failure of government. It's certain people or certain individuals within government. And there are laws to correct that. And that's what we are doing now. We are taking one of those laws to correct. So what are we looking for at the end of this presentation? Justice within the ambit of the law in South Africa. And we are confident that we're going to get that without going to the street or anything. So it's very, very critical that people understand that we're going to apply the law, and the law in South Africa is sufficient to protect. So you cannot blame government itself. We can blame ourselves of not taking the law and make sure that we can take every institution to task. Number 2, we're hoping out of this we can have proactive citizenry who will rise to invoke the law when things are not working. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for people to blame the government or to blame the ruling party. We're looking for people to blame themselves for not reading their contracts and going through legal action for fear of being victimized whenever there are issues. Let's go to the background now. Some of you might have seen a little bit of a background on our story. Allow me to drink water. Now, on the background, on the 22nd of June or round about there, 2022, Seda went out on a 10, wanting to establish 11 incubations in South Africa in various sectors. We applied and were successful for the mining incubation, and we complied with all requirements. So if you are successful, it means you complied with all requirements. You know, they checked us, we went for interviews, we did presentation, they wanted that document and that document. The very same way any tender, this was not handed out, you know, we had to put a proposal that was sustainable and was considered to be the best amongst any other proposal that was submitted. And that is critical to underline, colleagues. This was not a handout. We worked day and night to write a very good proposal, which Seda said, aha, these are the people that we are going to work with. Aha, these are the guys who have met all the requirements. So by the time we signed the contract, they would have checked everything, and I can guarantee you they checked everything. And when they signed the contract, they knew we were the right people. We signed the agreement around about May, which said that they are giving us 5 million in the year 2023 to establish the incubation. So really, this is for a setup. We're supposed to just get a building. In the building, we renovate it a little bit, put the equipment. They've got a guide on how that is supposed to be done. So in terms of the agreement itself, it started with a letter of approval, which indicated that before we can do all these things, were to give us 1 million rands upfront. It's the 20% of the 5 million. So as soon as we have signed the MOU and submitted any other document that they want, 1 million was supposed to come into our account. And from there, we were supposed to secure the venue where the incubation was to take place. And after that, they were going to pay us 2 million and then another 2 million. And the 5 million will be complete. And that was supposed to have been done in the year 2023. So by December, we were supposed to have finalized everything. And after that, they were going to support us for 3 years to operate the incubation. Now, this is critical that people understand why I said this was not a donation. After 3 years, having read our proposal, they believed we could be sustainable. So they took our proposal, they said, these ones are very good. In 3 years' time, if we support them, in 3 years' time, they will be running this thing like a business. So we support, run it like a business, as professional as you can be. And hence, we put the best team that you could get in South Africa. Now, that is May. And by July, we had not been paid the 1 million that we're supposed to be paid, the 20%. And we were told we need to come to a meeting in Pretoria where we were going to be workshopped, and they were going to talk about the various challenges that they had with the Auditor General, the fact that their contract perhaps is not appropriate, they were going to revise it, wara wara, all those things that they could say. But at the end of the meeting, they said, continue to recruit, continue to do what we need to do in the meantime, so that when we finalize everything and pay, you can hit the ground running. I must pause to indicate that in some of the incubations, out of the 11 had been paid already. I just can't remember how many. By the time we went to that meeting, some few incubations had been paid already. And 2 weeks later, after our meeting in Pretoria, after the nice workshop and the nice food, we were not paid. The other incubations, as far as I know, they were now all paid, except the mining incubation under the Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And colleagues, that was the beginning of the journey through hell. And when I say through hell, I'm not joking. I mean the journey through hell. You know, and I have this saying in my life of what I used to paint of some abuse. You know, I picture a mother who finds a baby whose step is smelling, and they've been potty training this baby for a while, but they come into a room, they can smell the poo, and they conclude that no, he has pooed on himself. And they beat him so hard. They beat him so hard, they called the siblings to come and laugh at an idiot who pooed on himself. And they even called the neighbors. This one, we have been potty training him You know, they put him outside there. And they even put him on a naughty corner to say, yeah, the pool must ban you because you don't listen. And after a while, they go and take the nappy and find that there was nothing. All that happened is that he farted. And they beat him so hard. Now, because they beat him so hard and they called the neighbors to come and see, they hold up that nappy and they go like, you are very lucky we are using quality nappies that can absorb poo. They still don't want to admit that he had not poo-pooed. They continue to say, you poo-pooed, but the nappy is so good, it absorbed the poo. That's what happened to us. They shake us up and down, try to find fault every angle. And when they couldn't find fault, they go and say, yeah, don't ever come to Seda, you're banned. I mean, that's a violation of constitutional right. I've got a right to be in any institution, anywhere, at any point in time. Actually, I wonder on the sanity of the lawyers who wrote that letter. But in any case, what do we know? Yeah, that was the beginning of the hell. We were searched, harassed, and all things that you can think of. Now, going back to their letter, and most of you would have read it. I think they raised 3 key things that they raised. They said we failed to secure the venue. You know, yeah, I don't know what kind of an idiot do they think I am. If I can put up such a proposal, which they said is good, how can I fail to get a venue? I mean, there are properties out there, but even if we failed, you know, Seda is a developmental agency. They were supposed to come and say, let us help you get a venue. In any case, they did not budget for us to establish a venue. So if no one is willing to accommodate us, they were supposed to come on board and say, maybe our model is wrong. But colleagues, I can confirm to you that we secured the venue before the submission of the tender. They wanted to see the venues before the submission of the tender. They went to evaluate the venues before the submission of the tender. And they gave us that tender on the basis of the venue. And I'm going to show you the letter confirming that everything is settled. But what is so sad is that the owner of the venue lost so much income ever since he agreed to work with us. So there is some young SMME out there who has got a property that has been running as a private school, who said, you guys can come and work in our space. And he believed so much in this vision. And he didn't even, he was gonna ask for it. He said, I'm going to use this opportunity to build a business along the incubation. That place is staying unoccupied so far, and the young man is losing income daily at a minimum of about 20,000 per month, minimum in terms of rental. But if he was running his own business, he could be making more. So whatever they said, I don't know what did they drink, because we had to submit letters from the beginning when we do the tender. And when we signed the contract, we had to have submitted all those letters. I'll show you that. They complained about the business model and the bill of quantities. I mean, everything that we submitted, it was according to their specification. They sent us a specification. We submit according to the specifications, and they turn around and say, no, we didn't. And I'll show you the letters when we go, the conversations that we have had. Conditions are not met. The only condition for the 1 million to be paid was for us to sign an MOU or MOA. We signed that. What else do they want? But why are the other institutions given the money and not ourselves? Are we children of the lesser God? Are they afraid of something? Do they hate SMMEs so much? Do they hate progress so much? And where I see, that's all I can conclude. We've got the wrong people on the right train. And they are taking all of us straight to hell. And what do I mean by that, colleagues? We have our youth sitting unemployed. 70% of our youth are unemployed. We've got the development plan that says by 2030, SMEs should be leading and creating more than 11 million jobs. And it's the role of Seda to make sure that those SMMEs are there. And we've got nothing. And we still have people who are spending money chasing us except for their personal agenda. Colleagues, that was the background. Now I'm going to take you through the journey, and I'm going to be projecting. I am hoping that our technical is going to be able to project for both who are on Zoom and those who to see that we're getting it right. We've got a very good technical team working with us here. And we appreciate that. That is the Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where we have got people who are committed to work together. And the very same people have been committed to know that we can work together. We're able to project on YouTube as well.
I'm not seeing the screen. Let's see the screen. Oh, yeah. Seda.
Be patient, colleagues. Technology. Let's see if they can see it. But if they cannot see it, we will still mix it properly and put it on YouTube afterwards.
Yes.
And we should be able to see all of that. So what I have put on the screen there, it's a letter of approval which was given to us on the 26th of March 2023, just before the end of the financial year. And I don't know why did they wait up until a few days before the end of the financial year. I do have a little bit of reasoning that they were still arguing whether they should give the LCCI or not. So on that letter, colleagues, when you look at what I have highlighted, number 3, it says the center must provide proof to Seda within a calendar month once the first tranche has been disbursed that the premises have been secured for the establishment of the incubator as per Seda incubation spec. So we're supposed to be given $1 million. Only after 30 days, then you can come marching and go like, where is the venue? In our case, it was different. You know, they came marching and said, where is the venue before they gave us $1 million? And as I'm saying, the lawyers who wrote that letter, I don't know where they come from. And this is the problem we have in South Africa. Professionals can get it wrong, and you cannot win. A professional can deliberately get it wrong, can do propaganda, and you cannot withdraw their license. It's there, it's very clear. You cannot tell us that we failed. Whereas it says very clearly, only after you have given us $1 million. So that was the first thing that they said. We failed to secure the venue. I'm just trying to use my base notes here. So that is the letter of approval. After that, we signed the MOU, which was on the 22nd of May. And in signing the MOU, they wanted many documents, including these documents that the lawyers, again, they're saying that it's not there. That is the confirmation to whom it may concern, intention to partner with the Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry to offer enterprise development services to the incubation. We have that. Nicely stamped, nicely signed. The facility is the best. For those who came to our stakeholder engagement session in November, they went to see the venue. We took nice pictures. It's a very perfect place. So that letter was submitted to them before we can sign the contract. Therefore, I am very much worried. What kind of lawyers will out say such statements without facts? Did somebody deliberately lie to them? I don't know. I put it to you, colleagues, that you judge for yourself. But what is said is that there is a young man out there who has lost a rental on that. On the 30th of May, and I have put that on the screen now, you can see, we were sent a mail. It says, please kindly send me a tranche request letter of 20% of the 5 million and your project plan. Please see attached example of the letter. And if they can do that, it means that we have gone past everything that is needed They are saying, no, you have met all the conditions for the 20 million, for the 2 million, for the 1 million, the 20% upfront. And of course, being the kind guys that we are, we responded quickly, and we gave them the letters. There was a little bit of back and forth. At first, they realized they gave us the wrong template in terms of the letter. We changed and everything, and that was good. 19th June. Now that's almost 20 days later. 19th June, we get a daring letter from Seda accusing us of not complying with policies. Not complying with policies? Like seriously, not complying with policies. After you have searched everything, we have signed the contract and you're indicating that we have complied. And it's the letter that I'm putting on the screen now. I'm just going to highlight the specific area that I want to deal with. It reads as follows. It is extremely important that the center manager, chairperson, and financial officer of the center familiarize themselves with Seda technology program policies and procedures. It is further advised that the center submit their incubation and operation model in line with these policies and procedures. What went wrong now? We submitted the proposal, they liked it. We went through the signing of the MOA, we gave them our model again, they liked it. Then they said, we are happy to give you the 20% tranche. And all of a sudden, on the 19th of June, I had to think what this guy had smoked at that point in time. You know, policies. But colleagues, I must say at that point in time, we had not been given policies by Seda. And we then wrote a letter back, you know, being the kind people that we are. And we indicated to them that we understand their thinking, but we caution the following, because at that point in time, when we put the proposal, they wanted us to propose how this thing was going to be. But as time went on, they wanted to describe how it should be. And we said, but now it's starting to look like it's a semi-franchise. You want us to be the operators. Whereas you said, come up with an idea of an incubation that can be sustainable. And we put our ideas. But even after they said they want us to adjust to their model, we did adjust, you know. And this is funny, by the way. I have never heard of a situation where you go out on tender, they say design what you want to do. After you design, they come and give you the plans. They say, in actual fact, throw your plan. We have got the design here. You're going to work according to this. And I looked at this. What kind of madness is this? So, in any case, let us go to what I've highlighted there. Having said all those things we said, we have also noted that there are certain documentation that should have been provided to us, as alluded to by your letter and the MOA. To this end, we hereby request that we be furnished the following: Seda Technology Program Policies and Procedures. By this time, we had not received them, colleagues. Seda Center Policy Manual, Center Supply Chain Management Policy, Centers Policy Manual, budgeting templates, advert templates, hiring policies, and or other templates that will be required in the implementation of the incubation. So at this point in time, we are saying we accept this as a franchise. Give us the template, give us everything so that we comply. And then we indicated we have been struggling to reach Seda on the following numbers. So colleagues, I must indicate that after we submitted our invoice for the 2 million, the colleagues from Seda, they were no longer taking our calls. You know, you call all those numbers. When they hear it's us, they just drop the call. So we then told them that we have not been calling. And I must appreciate that the colleague there, Mr. Bukako, then came back and indicated that, you know, he's going to give us his personal number. And from there, we're able to engage with him through his personal number. And they indicated they were going to give us the documents. And on the 26th of June, we received an email with so many documents from Seda. And that is the email that I am showing now. And it's that when you look at the YouTube, a bit of a delay in terms of that they are seeing. So sorry for you guys who are watching on YouTube. You can only blame the technology, but it looks like now you can see the same screen as me. Now, we get an email that says, here is everything that you need. You know, project plan, appointment letter, steering committee minutes, all those things, you know, to be able to run this thing. And I was so impressed. You know, Seda is running more than 110 incubations in South Africa. So you expect that over the years, you know, they've got the best template that you can work on. You know, check those documents. We go through all those documents. You know, there are so many, you know, taken from various incubations. In the end, I wanted to die of laughter. None of those documents addressed our request. None whatsoever. So a professional at Seda sat down, gave us some junk. So in actual fact, at this point in time, I can say with confidence, Seda does not have the policies. And of course, they admitted when we were at the workshop in Pretoria that in actual fact, they don't have the policies, they are outdated. Ah, they're driving without a license. You know what would happen if it was us? I mean, these guys will be dancing on our heads. Now, I'm wondering, what is the AG doing? Why has the AG not picked this up? AG, why have they not picked this up? They are operating without policies and procedures. Or maybe they didn't want to give them to us because they wanted us to fail. I had to respond and write a very long document. We have studied the content of your email and the attached documents. We would like to believe that your email was in response to our letter dated the 22nd of June 2023 sent to Mr. Bukako requesting the following: Seda Technology Program Policies and Procedures, Seda Center Manager Manual, all those things that we listed. And we say none of the documents attached to your email addressed our requests above. Please note that we urgently need this information as advised by Mr. Bukako, that it is extremely important that the center manager, chairperson, and financial officer of the center familiarize themselves with Seda Technology Program Policies and Procedures. It's better advised that the center submit their incubation and operating model in line with these policies and procedures. So if they cannot give it to us, what are we supposed to do? And I think that's when they had the aha moment, Seda. If they were not sabotaging us, they have the document. Of course, they didn't have the aha moment. But we then got an email. It's on the screen there, coming from Mr. Bukako. It says, can I suggest that kindly allow engagement Tuesday, 4th July 2023 to take place? And maybe some, if not all of this, will be clarified there. He was now defeated after writing a very strong letter directing us to look into policies that do not exist. And now he was relying on the workshop on the 4th of July. And by the way, we had to travel to the workshop on the 4th of July using our own money because we were not paid the money. And we said that it's okay. You know, we understand the contract is approved and there won't be any problem. Colleagues, we went to the workshop on the 4th of July. They told us all those things that they told us. And as I've indicated, they said, go and work. They are just polishing there are a few things here and there. So 2 weeks later, we have not received the money. And some of the incubations have received the money, if not all. But at this point in time, I would like to be that every other incubation had received their money except ours. We sent a reminder the 13th of July, asking, you know, what's happening with our money, you know. And on the 14th of July, we get a response, and it's on your screen there. And it reads as follows: good day. We would like to do a site visit on the 17th of July 2023 at 11 o'clock a.m. Can you please avail yourself or another representative for the center? All other matters will be clarified during this inspection. They were supposed to have been clarified in Pretoria. Now we are being inspected before we get the 1 million. They are suspecting there must be some poo. They want to check it out. But we were supposed to just give them the venue only after they paid us $1 million. And indeed, on the 17th, they came for the inspection. Unfortunately, on their way there, they had an accident, 2 colleagues. And they were very late. I think they arrived after 12 for a 10 o'clock meeting. And because we realized that it looks like these people are looking for the poo, we arranged 3 venues so that if they don't like this one, they can take the other one. If they don't like that one, they can take the other one. But by that time, 2 other venues, the people who were waiting for us had gone. The one venue, they were there. So we took one of the colleagues being so cold because she had had an accident. The car rolled. Their car rolled. So we had to go and rescue them with our car. And we wanted to take them to the hospital as a priority, but they indicated that the one colleague can come with us. She came with us. She saw the venue. But I must indicate, I don't think she was in the right mind at that point in time. Because even while we were driving in the car, she was telling us not to drive more than 60. I remember her saying that. She said, I know these are Porsche guys, but please, can you not go beyond 60? You know, so that was the person who's not in the right mind. We went to the first facility, the people were still there waiting for us, we saw it. We went to the second facility, we saw it from outside. The third facility, we couldn't see it because she was clearly in. We had to prioritize taking her to the doctor. Also, we were worried about the other colleague that we left on site, but by that time we had found the police for them. So we didn't just leave him there. We first managed to make sure that the police were there. He had to wait for the insurance, and all those things before they can be taken. So we really had to try and prioritize their life there. So they saw the venue. Now they went back, you know, to Pretoria head office. On the 25th, they now write email after we inquired again, 25th of July. And I put it on the screen. The NPC should identify a single site that they are going to utilize the establishment of the center. Yes, we identified the single site, we submitted to them, but because we know they are hard to please, we showed them 3 venues. Choose one. We are wrong for showing you 3. Hey, what's wrong? I mean, seriously, even yourself, when you went out there, you took so many proposals and you chose one. You went out there on a tender. Who wants to work with us? We submitted so many proposals, you chose one. So we said to you, you have got a choice, you can choose one, choose Musketeer. But in our case, we had chosen because we had given them a letter. They now again want the letter of intent from the landlord must be acquired. Colleagues, we have given them that letter. The project plan needs to be drafted with regards to all the renovations that will take place. Hey, with whose money? I mean, for us to quantify the renovations that needs to be done, we needed that 1 million. How are we supposed to do that? Bills of quantity must be drafted as it will be utilized to request quotation. Who's doing all these things before we have the money? I mean, this is abuse. This is abuse. BBQs will be shared with Seda and budget breakdown for the 5 million that will be disbursed. I mean, the whole point of giving us the trench one is for us to be able to move up and down and do all those things. And we were kind. I mean, we went to Pretoria, our own money. We took them around our own money. We secured the facilities, our own money. Even the bills of quantities that they are disputing, we had to do it ourselves. It means we had to negotiate with someone, a quantity surveyor. Please do this for us. And we are struggling. Are they going to be able to back pay? Because that is the issue that we're going to have. So we cannot back pay. Of course, you know, we look at all those things that they have mentioned, and they are saying based on the pictures taken on the first school, they are being selective. They choose the worst of them on the first school. That could be millions of rands looking at the state of the school, walls, roofs, ceilings. The second school was locked and were unable to come. Who said they must be late? They were late. Who said they must have an accident? Where were they rushing to? Colleagues, this is tiring, but this is the journey through hell. And as all this is happening, I'm asking myself, is Seda a jungle? Survival of the fittest. Let me check my notes and see where I am. So on the 25th, they raise all those challenges that they are raising. And on the 26th and the 27th, we then respond. And we looked at everything that they submitted. And we said we have checked the information requested. Please note that the per item cost was left there by mistake. As you can see, they were removed elsewhere. So there was just a small little mistake that we had there. And then we said you have indicated that we have used the CFERI incubator. We cannot seem to find where we have done that. We use the attached document provided by yourselves from page 39 to 53, which you said is what we must use. Please assist so that we correct accordingly. So even at that point in time, we're still saying, if we were wrong, which we believe it's you who made us to be wrong, give us the right guide. The man disappeared. This man, from that day on, whether he was removed from the project or what, he disappeared. Suffice to say that he sent us the next email that I am reading. And apologies, and I note the error. And he indicates some few things that he had made an error. He said, I apologize unreservedly for the error on the email. And he's saying to us, please note that Sekedu Ramutla will now take over. I must also indicate that by this time, the other colleague, Lcci, the one who went to see the schools, was no longer on the project as well. So the key people that we started with, Lcci and this other gentleman, they disappeared from the project. They brought someone. And this someone that they brought is the person who helped us to sign the contract. And I must say that he seemed to have a very good understanding. And he came in. When he came in, he quickly said from where he stands, the issue was our budget. And he wants to help correct that. And we worked on it, trying to correct. But I must also indicate he came on the picture on the 31st of July after we sent a demand, because our invoice was now more than 30 days due, and government says they pay in 30 days. They don't want SMMEs to suffer. And we reminded them. We sent a letter of demand. And out of that letter of demand, let me just take this email properly from the bottom. So what you see there, it's us sending a letter to Mr. Bukako. Please find attached an urgent letter for your attention. The letter was just written, please give us our money, pay back the money. And we then got an email from Sekedi Ramutla, who says, kindly share with me a breakdown of how funds will be utilized for the first tranche payment. I will expect the process for payment to be effected ASAP. And on the very same day, we sent him the expenses. That is our email there. And he connected with us telephonically after we did a little bit of exchanges. He even helped us with the template. He was very professional, this guy. He said, this one is going to fly. By the 2nd of August, he was done with us. We were expecting payment to take place on the 4th of August, on a Friday. So now I was starting to wonder, if they didn't tip him not to assist us, because it seems he assisted us and they didn't want that. And now they have a problem because they don't have anything that they can say not to pay us. So we continue inquiring, from the 2nd of August up until the 25th of August. And on the 25th of August, we get an email from Mr. Ngai. This gentleman can be a joke sometimes. I don't know how he got a job there, actually. Now, apparently, this is their boss. The man who has been looking at the email. So this time around, he decided to respond himself because his subordinates were tired of him. You know, they come and ask for this with supply. He says, ask for the other one, supply. This time he writes an email by himself. My correspondence to you dated 2023 as reference. Can I humbly ask that you refrain from sending emails to my colleagues on this issue pending the formal correspondence that I had said will be sent to yourself in due course? So this guy calls me and said, look, Chief, we're going to send you, and don't call us. We're going to call you. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. Don't tell me to wait for a call. You know, we have a contract here, Chief. We are currently running our internal processes on our side and we will revert back soon. What processes are you running, Chief? Like, really? What are you trying to say about Seda? I mean, how did you sign the contract if you didn't run internal processes? I'm not sure where the basis of your letter comes from, as there were no specified timeframes on the conditional letter of approval sent to you. Oh, so this guy says he could even pay us in 2030. Something is wrong with these employees. So I looked at that, what the nerve. I mean, like, seriously. I mean, I'm still shocked for years that this is a manager of the incubation. This is the guy who has been put in charge. I don't know whether they picked him on the streets or what. Suffice to say that we know that he's on a contract. And perhaps because he's on a contract, you know, they just picked anything that they could find on the streets to come and work. But I must also declare that some of these contract jobs I applied for, why couldn't I be hired? I think I would have done a better job. Okay. So we are being told to stay away. We have a contract. This guy is not following the contract. The contract says, if you have got the disputes, write to the other party, tell them within 14 days they must give 1, 2, 3. And at this point in time, everything that they had written them, now their internal processes. Sure, I wonder what that is. What kind of a computer that? Or what are they manipulating? Writing new contract and all those things. And on the 25th of August, we then write, oh, we got that response after we wrote a courteous reminder to Mr. Bukako. So that is the email that you see there. And the final demand for their agent attention. So that's what spooked Mr. Ngai there. You know, he goes like, don't talk to us. We'll talk to you. We'll find you where you are. Okay. So from where we stand, we have given them everything that they need, but they're still trying to find reasons not to give us the money. And by the 28th of August, we then wrote to the CEO, say, CEO, we have a problem. Can we have a meeting so that we talk about this? The CEO didn't respond to our email, didn't respond to our letter. It was just mum. I mean, this guy violated the Vatupili principles. You don't keep quiet when we send you a communique. You respond. He didn't respond. 14th of September, we escalate the matter to the board, and the board chairperson doesn't respond. Ma'am, again, violations of Batupili principle. Then I start to ask myself, how did they get the jobs? Then I realized that was just promoted from some position in SIFA. They put him up there. Maybe he doesn't understand what he's doing. You respond, Chief. We didn't get a response. Now, on the 18th of September, we now receive a letter. That is the letter that I'm putting on the screen there. Things are getting interesting. It says, re yourself and Seda matter, IOR. I don't know what that means. Previous correspondence. Letters of demand, appointment of board of directors, memorandum of agreement, and recommendation of forensic investigation. Now, this letter says we hereby wish to confirm receipt of all correspondence and have noted the contents and the issues raised. We therefore wish to place the following on record, that this matter has been referred to the Office of the Legal and Corporate Governance Unit, and request is hereby made to all correspondence to be directed to this. This guy didn't read the contract. No. The contract makes it very clear. we talk to the guy. We talk to him. Don't take us to legal. I mean, if we go to legal, then how do we come back to the contract? If we go to legal for advice, that is fine, but he cannot take us to legal. Number two, we are in a possession of a forensic investigation report, which report is available on request, which implicates you through BizVice, which is my company, by the way, in the fraudulent activities against Seda. And one of the recommendations from the report is for you and the company to be blacklisted or restricted from doing any business with Seda. So these were the internal processes that they were running. They were investigating me. They were trying to find a reason to get rid of me. And that was the aha moment. Now, only to, and you must put this in mind when we talk about the dates, the timelines, only to learn that around the 10th of August, they opened a criminal charge against me pertaining to that investigation that they've spoken about. Remember, around the 2nd of August, 4th of August, we had given them everything. They were supposed to pay, and they realized that, hey, this Jakalas has passed. Let us open a criminal case against him. I have never seen a criminal case that was moved so fast. It was opened on a particular date. I can't remember if it's the 10th for correction. On the next date, I was being called in to be processed. I get a call from the police, hey, you are wanted. And even on a Saturday for that matter. So these guys were given a mission, arrest the Jakalas. We want him in so that we'll have no reason to pay him the money. Of course, that is a matter of the police. The case is still there. They are dealing with the best way that they can. But I was disappointed, guys. This is a fraud matter. Why didn't they bring the Hawks, the GTI? I mean, this is serious stuff. This GTI. I'm still offended. Am I not a serious criminal? I mean, I must be taken serious. Like seriously. But in any case, who am I? So we then realized that things are taking a different turn. We responded to that letter and we said, please give us that report since it's available. But I must backtrack a little bit, colleagues. When they did the investigation, finished the investigation around the 20th of January. I requested the report. They have not given me the report to date. And I don't know why. So even that time they said the report is available. We said, give us the report. They said, no, you cannot just get the report. You must go through the prior request. We referred them to the email of prior request that we did in March. Now give us the report. They've never responded. That legal, whatever legal department, I don't know even where do they get the people to be sitting there. They disappear. They've never given us that report. You know. So now you can see things are changing from the requirement. They are becoming personal. They need to get rid of somebody. On the 23rd of November, we were having the stakeholder engagement in Mukopane. In the morning of that day, we received a letter. Now I've put it on your screen. It reads, withdrawal of approval letter and termination of memorandum of agreement. Seda versus Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the establishment of mining incubator. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I had a problem with that letter. The contract stipulates how we end the agreement. As they just wake up and they believe they can withdraw. They just wake up. It's withdrawn. Reasons, the incubation module which was presented to Seda did not comply or align with the prescribed requirements of Seda. But they approved it and even said, send the invoice. One of the directors of the envisaged incubator, Mr. Jelel, who's also a current president of the Lcci, director company which was implicated in wrongdoing against Seda, was restricted from doing business. So I'm being convicted. I'm not being given the response. I've got no right of response, and I'm being dragged left to right. I wonder how much they spent to investigate that matter. Oh, so that you know. Can let me remove the presentation slide. I want people to see my face with this one. I want people to see my face. I hope on YouTube as well, the face is gone. Now, by the way, these fraudulent activities that they are talking about is less than 50,000. So we are talking about less than 50,000. And of course, there's no fraud there. They're just making it up. But they go for a forensic audit that I can tell you it's way too expensive. It's more than 50,000. They also go and open a criminal case where the law says that if they've suffered or observed a loss of more than 100,000, but they go and register a case of 50,000. So these guys probably spend close to 500,000 to try and recover less than 50,000. And for me to do that job, I spent 3 times the money that they paid me, because we're supposed to assist SMMEs to apply for funding. Most of these SMMEs, they didn't have business plans. They were not paying for that. I had to do that job myself. So you are being kind, you are being assisting in the community, and they spend a lot of money hunting you up and down. So they went for a forensic report, and you'll see that forensic report. I'm also worried about the institution that did that Gobodo forensic investigation. You read that report, then you wonder where the accountants and the auditors come from. I'm still baffled. I'm confused. I don't understand. Okay, but in any case, let them allow the law to take its course. Let them give me the report. Let me see the report. Let me have the right of reply. I don't have that. I'm just being dragged to court where it doesn't qualify because it's less than 100,000. You will see the affidavit that the gentleman signed. He states that I understand that if I observe anything fraudulent related for more than 100,000, I must report it to the police. Now I understand perhaps why he didn't go to the Hawks. Or maybe he paid the police officer to register the case. I don't know. But you never know. Maybe I'm still to be arrested. In the meantime, let me tell you the truth before I am taken in and processed. But I learned of late that I've got a right not to be arrested. So no one dares come to me. I've got a right not to be arrested. That is South Africa for you. Now, the site selected for the establishment of the incubator, though rural, does not have necessary utilities and the estimated cost of refining. So they are still dancing on that one property that they saw. You know, and that is the CEOs writing this letter. But like I'm saying, it was picked up from CIFA because they didn't want to hire a permanent CEO. And obviously, he does not have experience of being the CEO. He's still a young man at the same time, still has life to learn. All those things that he wrote there, they are not here nor there, as they say in English. You know, we just don't want to use heavy language. But that is the highest level of nonsense that anyone who's being paid a salary every month can ever say. Now, in terms of the presentation that I wanted to put to you guys, that I wanted to share with you, I'm not going to be sharing more content on the screen, but I'll continue to then say that we then escalated the matter to the minister on the 30th of January 2024. At least we got an acknowledgement letter from the office of the minister, but we didn't get a response as well. So they probably ran the internal processes and when like we don't talk to a criminal. You know, the criminal doesn't deserve the Vatupili principle. You know, we can do as we please. So the minister, Stella Ndaveni Abrahams, did not respond. And in my opinion, that's a violation of the parliamentary code of ethics. She put her friends first rather than us. Because the only reason she didn't respond is because her friend told her, we are busy dealing with the jackalas, so don't let him breathe. President Cyril Ramaphosa, that's your minister. She didn't respond. Now, on the 9th of February, we get a letter now. That's the one that we circulated, the cease and desist letter. So somebody in Seda has the nerve to write me a letter to tell me never to enter the Seda offices, or the members of the chamber never to enter the Seda offices. Hey, what did you smoke? Like, seriously, what did you smoke? That is the highest violation of my rights. If you have an issue, take it through the law. Take it through the law. Don't threaten me. Am I a lesser child of God? Are you a greater child of God? Now, in all these letters, you must realize there is a pattern of timing. When we were told to stay away and not communicate to Seda, it's because they were confident they have registered a criminal case. When they sent us a letter now to say that I am implicated, it's when they realize that they've got nothing to hide on. When they sent us a letter of termination, it's when we're having a stakeholder engagement on that morning. They didn't want to explain to the public why they are not there, because they were invited, they were supposed to be there. When they sent the letter on the 9th, they were trying to protest their participation on the roadshow. Remember, we're starting the roadshow on the 12th. So that was a way of protesting that, you know what, let's write a letter so that we can tell people we cannot go to those meetings because we have got cease and desist. Hey. And this is the highest abuse of power I've ever seen by people who do not have power. But we give them power because we don't challenge them. And then after that, colleagues, we then realized that, like somebody typed here, cried, my beloved country. We realize that these people are entitled to do as they please, and they will continue to do as they please. And we have tried to resolve the matter peacefully, as the contract says. And we were very lenient because the contract says that within 14 days, if it's not resolved, you must then go for arbitration in our case. And we then decided that we are taking the legal action. And if we are taking the legal action, we might as well tell you people so that you understand where we come from. Most of this information will be on the public domain. You will see that information. And we also want them to have the right of reply. That's why we did this media statement, so they can have their media statements. They are lying. And we can prove everything. But colleagues, as I paint this journey, personally, and my team in the chamber, we took this journey knowing very well what we're facing. Even when we applied, for the incubation, we thought, one, it's either they were just going to shred our application because we have got a very bad history with them. Around 2020 or so, we met and we made a very good proposal to them about co-sharing of the office space. So basically, we realized that Seda is only on district level, and in municipalities, there are challenges. So we said, in the municipalities, they can use our offices as the chamber, and because at that point, they were preaching something, they call it ecosystem partners. We said, yeah, we even wrote an MOU. We sent to them, they approved the MOU, they were about to sign it. And when we inquired about it, they started to give us the runaround. And we were told that they've decided to go on tender with our concept. They like our concept so much, but they want to go out on tender. And they went out on tender. I know in particular in Vembe, they've got an outlet now in Musina and one in Makado, but there are still municipalities like Collins Chawan that does not have an outlet. And we accepted that perhaps, that was going to implicate us in wrongdoing. But it was our proposal. It was our proposal. So we knew already that these guys want nothing to do with us. And perhaps to paint my picture as well, I was included on the Seda database to be a service provider around 2017, 2018. When you are in the Seda database, it's almost like panel of some sort. So they must rotate all of you in terms of asking for quotations. Between 2017 and 2021, my company was never called for a quotation. Now, of course, I might be making noise. It's possible they've got 1 million companies in their database. So all these years, though, my company was just sitting at the end. All these years, they were calling the other companies. But at that point in time, I knew that I'm being sidelined. I had done research as well, know that they were sidelining anyone who was knowledgeable enough. So there is a modus operandi that I'm going to paint later of the fraud that is taking place in Seda. So their modus operandi includes sidelining any professional who can offer proper service. So most of the guys who can do a proper business plan, can do proper training, they're not being called for the tenders. But at times, I think the other issue is that they wanted to underprice. So Seda prices are very much underpriced. I do not know how they approved. They are so much underpriced. So I raised that issue around 2021 to say, guys, what was the use of me going through the process of qualifying to be in the database of Seda? It's not easy, guys. They want policies. They come to evaluate your offices. So I went through all of that, and I was never called in. So I complained, and I was then called in for the 2 projects that result in me being investigated. I do the first project, I get paid. I do the second project, I want payment, the payment is not coming through. And I said, if there is one thing about me, I get paid. I don't care who you are. If I do the job, I get paid. Even for this incubation, I'll be paid. I can tell you that. I've done the job, I'll be paid. I told them I want my money. They took me from pillar to post. You're supposed to submit that. Then I wrote a letter to the province and said, Chief, give me my money. I've done the job. Don't tell me about this and that. You give me my money. Oh. Then, of course, they gave me my money. But at that point in time, I decided to write a letter of complaint about everything. Why was I not being appointed all these years? It looks like there is something personal. That's when they decided to investigate me. Let's find a way. This guy, if we investigate him, we'll find some poop. They did the investigation. They found something, apparently. Although I don't know what that, according to me, they found nothing. They held on to that report. They tried to use it at some point when it was convenient. Now, this is me, president of the Limpopo Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I hold my first degree from Wits University. That's not an easy institution to be. I also have a master's from the University of Pretoria. And I'm finalizing my PhD with University of Venda. And I'm about 47 years old. That tells you that I've been there in the apartheid time. I was part of those who made sure Mandela comes out. So I'm not a kid. I'm not a baby. I cannot be threatened easily. Now, if Seda can do this to me, how much more to a poor SMME? How much more to a poor general dealer? I mean, I don't know how much money they've spent so far, but I can tell you it's more than 2 million just chasing around. So our SMMEs are oppressed. They are forced to take lesser amount for the work that they are doing. They are forced to take lesser funding. You take funding even when you can see that it won't make your business to be sustainable. That is the abuse that they are taking us through. Now, I have done research for the past 10 years. And I consolidated my research in the last 2 months. I did a survey. Most of you participated. And this is what we found. Out of those that we surveyed, more than 50% have never applied for assistance from Seda or SIFA. You ask yourself why. It's because it's not appropriate. The people who sit there are incompetent. You walk in there, you have got a business plan, you tell them what you want to do. They tell you something very different. You're like, huh. So 50% of the SMMEs that we surveyed, they've never applied for funding. The other 50% that has applied, less than 1% have received any kind of assistance from Seda and SIFA. But maybe I am lying. Look in your community. Who do you know has been funded by Seda, SIFA? I mean, we all grew up in a place where there is a general dealer. Or maybe they can point the sponsor shops that they gave the 3,500. which they gave a voucher to go and buy in a particular shop that will then increase the prices. They don't benefit at the end of the day. So I knew already that they just make a lot of noise. So they'll go out. You know, they did something called pitch for funding at some point. They spend a lot of money with the minister running around. We spend a lot of money as the community as well, going to those meetings. Now, I don't know how many people attended those sessions, but I can tell you the average cost of attending from the business point of view was more than 5,000 rands, because you needed to make sure that you are compliant. So you have to talk to your accountant. Please assist me. You will have to go to that. Please assist me with tax clearance. So you want to go there, you got someone, makes a business plan. So really on a minimum, an average person who went to pitch would have spent 5,000 rands. And for those who had serious business plans, they would have spent 50,000, whether they did the business plan by themselves. So you have got these 2 million SMMEs that have been participating during that drive. All of them are paying a minimum price tag of 5,000 rand. 2 million SMMEs. That is a huge loss in the economy, only for the government to dispatch less than 10 million. Like, seriously? So we spend more than 50 million. We make the economy to spend more than 50 million so that we can dispatch 10 million. Not so long ago, we had a fight with them. They advertised that they want to fund cooperatives. If I remember, their budget was about 67 million for the whole country. You work it out, it's probably 1 million or so per district. About 200,000 per municipality. I might be wrong, but you can do your own calculations. Now, again, 500 cooperatives are going to apply at a minimum cost of 5,000. Because you have to apply, and I'm saying minimum. We all apply. Either only to share that 67 million and get 1 rand each, or they're going to fund 2 out of 500. That is a huge loss to the economy. And this is what they are doing. They are having events now and then. We are running around. All of us are hoping that this time around they're going to take me. You know, the messages that I got from some of the people when we said we are having a media briefing, said, yeah, they're going to blacklist you. No, they blacklisted me long time ago in 2012. Not now. They just don't know what to do to get rid of me. In 2012, they blacklisted me. Expecting anything. But even if they didn't blacklist me, they couldn't fund me enough for me to do what I want to do. 350,000 cannot get any business going. That's what they've been funding. But we run around attending events, compiling project proposals for them to dispatch 1 million. We spend 50 million as the business community. That is a serious problem that we are having. So this is the pain that the SMMEs are going through. But colleagues, like I'm saying, this is a modus operandi. This is intentional. It's being done deliberately to sabotage the economic development. And some of us are going to go around and say it's the ruling party, it's the government. No, it's our brothers and sisters that we employ. It's us not standing up for our rights and take them to the cleaners. Why aren't you saying anything? Why are you having 50 certificates at home? And you don't go and complain that, Seda, you have been training me for the past 30 years. But I have not gotten anything. We're all keeping quiet. They call the next meeting, we go. It is us, it's not the government. And it's not the political intervention that we need. It's us standing up. It's us standing up. I want to put something on the screen for you to see now. And this is devastating. I want you to see it and understand the mandate of Seda. I want you to understand the mandate of Seda. And this is in the Act. That is the mandate of Seda. Hopefully we can project on YouTube as well. Okay, what you see there are extracted from the Act, except the first paragraph. They are saying that Seda is expected to implement the policy of the national government for small enterprise development. We don't have that policy to date. This policy was going to make sure that when you go to see for IDC or you go to the municipality, things are standardized. We don't have that policy. This policy was going to help us benchmark internationally. When we say what is an incubation, we should be talking what Silicon Valley is doing. We don't have that. We wrote a letter to inquire about this 2 years ago. Another reason they hate us. That's when they said it's only now that we're doing it with the funding from the European what. You don't have your own money to do that. The second bullet there, I'm trying to highlight it. And this is big. Seda is expected to design, implement a standard national delivery network that must be uniformly applied throughout the Republic in respect of small enterprise development, integrating all government-funded small enterprise support agencies. Now, if they have done this thing, to go through the rest and this thing, it means that we want to be able to tell who is funding institution, who is bringing money. You wouldn't have to move and tell you go to DC. They were supposed to have this walk in and they tell you this funding, this have been allocated so much. These are the areas that funding should be. Number form. Three, they should fund it. Of small development. This thing of saying we're gonna put the website who's funded. So that website paid. I don't work and not get my money. It has never happened in my life. I get my money. They will give us our money. We have spent more than 2 million so far. They will give us that money. They will give us that money. So this is what we have done so far, so that we have returned to the public protector sometime last year. And the public protector is working on that. And we do hope that the public protector will take the right decision. Are we having a problem with the YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube is back on now. We're good to go.
Okay.
But your Zoom screen captured everything else.
It's fine. It's fine.
So the Zoom screen is off. We've got you on full screen now.
All right.
Wonderful. 1 hour, 21 minutes. Let's keep rolling.
So we have gone to the public protector. I think they've done what they need to do. But I must indicate we went to the public protector sometime last year around October. They are still busy. That takes too long for an SMME. That takes too long. And probably they will be done in the next 3 months if we are lucky. That really takes too long. But at least I'm happy, they've been very friendly, very helpful, and we have taken the matter to the SIU because we know there are some fraud elements in there. Most of the incubations that they are running, they are siphoning money. Most of the people that they are funding, they are actually colluding with the suppliers to siphon money. Most of the agents that they are working with, they are siphoning money. And this is evidence that is there on their system. They don't even need me to point it out. So we have told that to the SIU. We have gone to the Human Rights Commission because what they are doing is strictly violation of my human rights, the human rights of the SMMEs that are supposed to be benefiting, and we hope they will do the right thing. We have gone to the useless minister as well. The minister who knows how to keep quiet when we approach her. We have returned to the president. Yeah, let's hope the president will do the right thing. I mean, he did the right thing not so long when Tabilioka was implicated in some PhD fraud. So we expect expedition president. We have reported the matter to Parliament. The minister cannot behave in the manner that she behaved. And we are now doing the media briefing as we have done. And we have approached the Association for Arbitration. We are submitting our matter there. So far, this is what we can do, or the best that we can do. I'm still worried with the YouTube.
A bit of an internet glitch, but let's check it out.
Yeah, we need to make sure we correct that, my team, if there is a problem.
Yeah. No, so far, this is running. We just have around, okay, I see you're fine there.
Let's correct it because we want everyone to hear this.
Everybody must get the message.
Yeah, everyone must get the message.
Definitely.
We can't be silent anymore. I love South Africa. I love South Africa so much. And I know many people are going to go and vote wrongly because they are angry with people that they were supposed to remove from positions. They want to use the vote. The same problems will stay. And what I'm proposing now going forward is that we must use, some they call it referendums. We must do petitions. And after this meeting, we are going to send a petition. Our petition is very clear. The minister must go. The CEO must go. The board must go. Every other employee implicated must go. Seda must be investigated for all the allegations that we have put. We just need 2,000 signatures. We're going to do it online. So it means each of us who are here, just tell your 10 friends, to go online and fill in that form. Make sure that we all do that. And that's what we're going to do going forward. Colleagues, in taking all this legal action that we are doing, we need as much help as we can get. The reason we get abused, and I must blame the legal fraternity now. The reason we get abused is because most of our legal friends, they are not willing to either assist SMMEs because they are poor, or they are not willing to go against government. And we need to learn from other countries in actual fact, there is more money in lawsuits against government. But because most of us are in the panel of attorneys in government, then it becomes difficult. But we are making a call either to the Law Society or wherever. This is a serious issue that we need to stand up. For us to complete the democracy, we need to make sure that we can stand legally and challenge things. So those who are willing to assist, jump on board. We need your assistance. Friends of court, those who have been abused as well, you have got a matter that is outstanding. We ask you to join us as well. We're also going to need people with IT skills because we need to make sure we set up a proper website for petitions going forward. So anything that bothers us now going forward, we're going to go for a petition. So if the municipal mayor is not doing properly, we're going to do a petition. And when we do the petition, we're going to take it on social media. We're going to take it to parliament. We have been able to deal with most of our celebrities on social media by doing petitions. We must be able to do the same with ministers. We must be able to do the same with MECs. We must be able to do the same with the civil servants. So we need someone who can set up that simple website where I can come in, log that problem of mine, and then mobilize for signatures, where we can deposit all this damning evidence that we have. We need researchers as well. We cannot just be told this is an incubation, and we cannot then say, but incubation in America is done in this manner. We must be able to dispute that. We need all other professionals. So come and join us. Let us make sure that it works. Colleagues, that is me signing out and signing into the new way of doing things. Petitions, legal action. That's us. We're not going to go to the street. We're not going to talk about voting people out. We're going to talk about removing people in power who shouldn't be in power through petitions, through our social media power, the influencers. Welcome to the new year. It's the new financial year of government. It's the new year for the things to be done differently for us. And it's not April's Fool. What you have heard, it's real. It happens. And it's happening to many. I'm going to allow questions. If you've got a question, you can raise your hand. If you've got a comment, you can comment whether you're watching on YouTube. And we're going to address your question or comment. And we obviously are running out of time, but we are not going to be very strict. We're going to try and get as much as we can. So you can just raise the hand if you have got something to say. And my colleagues will be checking the screens as well to see. I see that many people have been typing a lot. So if you typed, you feel you need a response now, I then request you to just raise your hand and say it. We're going to capture whatever it's there. And we're going to make sure that it's properly captured. But if you've got a question, you can raise your hand. I don't see any hands so far. Anyone going once? Going twice? Going... Okay, Lcci. Lcci, you raised your hand. You can go on the platform, ma'am.
It's not Lcci, it's Checha, meaning listen.
Sorry, my sister.
It's okay. Greetings, everyone. Everyone joining us from Zoom, everyone joining us online. I greet you all in the name of Jesus, all protocol observed. My name is Seda, a resident of Gauteng. I reside in Midrand. I have to say that I sympathize with everything that you've gone through. You know, at some stage I went through depression because of this whole Seda. My business was self-funded in 20. I started manufacturing around 1999. So there was an uptake because people love my product. I manufacture own body butter, my own body scrub, my perfume, everything is custom made. My diffuser. So fast forward, because people who saw and identified the skill, because I've always been a skilled person and very entrepreneurial person, even when I was working for telco. So people approached me and wanted to start buying, and so that's when I started manufacturing in like a bit of bulk. But everything was self-funded, and I'm unemployed. So fast forward, someone loved the product and told me about the Seda program, of which I engaged with Seda. That was 2000, yeah, 2000, yeah, 2000, before COVID, right? Yeah, and then I did everything. I got all the papers right in front of me when I did my business plan, my marketing analysis, the SWOT analysis, name of year of 2020, and subsequent to that, I was even allocated the client number, right? So fast forward, after I submitted my business plan, allocated the number, they took my product.
Are you able to put zoom on them?
If you've got the screen, yes. Is your zoom in still on?
If you can, instead of showing my picture.
Yeah, let me grab her. She's from Zoom, right?
Then I need access for because there's an uptake of my programs, and since this business is self-funded, when you sell a property and you have to fund your business, and on the other hand, you have to feed your family. In the long run, it's not sustainable. Hence, I ended up being bankrupt. I ended up even losing my house because of the business plan is solid, because I can do a whole lot of things like but from there, after I went for an interview, was that I should only submit 5 products for now, and they faced the product. I took them to Dekis, the lab there where they test. However, they said my product should go to Limpopo. So I said, okay, it's fine. I went to Limpopo and to escalate the minister's number, the minister Stella. I wrote an email and told her, ma'am, this is what's happening. I've been waiting for Seda to get assistance for the past 3 years, and in the process, I'm losing a whole lot of things. Because remember, when they ask you to go and get 3 quotations of everything, that is money. It's money for you to drive around for quotations from people. It's money for you to make calls, and by then you're not even employed. It's money for you to be always going to procurement to Seda to ascertain what is happening, who's holding back, your funding. And with me, my case is simple, because I said, guys, because there's an uptake, I don't even need your money. They said, what do you need? I said, the only thing that I need, that I need from me, it's for you to be an enabler. I need you to buy me like just the machine. And they came to my house. They came to my house and said, take a look, you operate in this business in your house. Your house is even smelling of perfume. So what you need you to do is go around and get quotations, because obviously, when you go to interview, they ask you, what is it that you want to do? How are you going to contribute to the GDP of this country? Are you going to create employment? So they ask you those kind of things, of which I had answers, because I did supply chain for 15 years. So I knew I'm going to use how I'm going to deliver. I wanted to export my product to the southern. People in Botswana have been waiting. They come to South Africa and take my products in boxes. But those things are self-funded, and I'm not employed. To this day, I'm still waiting for Seda. I've got the TTA number. You know what is the TTA number? TTA number means that everything has been approved. The board has said. By TTA, every time when I send an email and ask the guys what is happening with the TTA number, they just respond and say, the TTA number is captured, and then we'll revert back to you. It's 3 years now. My products are SABS approved. I send them the quotation from GDS1, because remember, when you want to You need to have that box, the SKU, the serial number, so that they can be able to scan and it talks to the point of sale. So I got the quotation and the business developer. Me said, look, you don't even need. So give me the quotation and I'll submit it as part of your business case. That's what I did. Subsequent to that, I went and looked for, that was my paper here, 2021, when GSA sent me the quotation for the serial number. And I sent it to Seda, the quotation for the serial number. So 2021, I've got it right in front of me. To this, they haven't bought anything for the machinery. The only person that helped me was Stella, because I called Minister. I said, Minister, look, here's my business case. To my surprise, I see people even selling these things on social media. My idea, I see them selling. However, number one, these people, their products are not even tested. Mine are tested. Mine are SABS approved. So what is the barrier? Can someone tell me what is happening? Because people are even stealing my idea. But then, however, those people got funding, they're nowhere to be found. If you can look on social media, they're nowhere to be found. But at some stage 2 years ago, everyone was like telling all these things. And someone even called me and told me, what is it that you do? What you put in your diffuser? Because I once bought it and now I'm manufacturing, but yours is different because it kills. And I said, I'm not going to tell you because someone told me that I shouldn't declare everything. So now essentially means that someone took my business plan and gave it to someone that person got funding. However, because they are not there, it's not their idea, they are failing. You know, if only you think some idea roll out, what is their roadmap, what is their focus, what is it that they plan to do. So fast forward, I was shocked actually. Few months ago, was in January, when I saw Seda advertising for people to submit quotations. You know, and they said they'll give me 220. I cried and I laughed. I said, I have a TTA number that is waiting to be honored. Seda goes on media and advertise for people to be funded for machinery. Where else they are sitting with my TTA number. The only thing that they're supposed to do is honor my TTA number. I even told them that, look guys, I don't even want money, just enable me to be an entrepreneur. I manufacture my own product. Just buy. This is what I need. I even gave them the quantities. This is what I need. The number of bottles. This is the raw oil that I raw butter because I cook everything myself. They said, look, but you can't do this thing from home. Get a quotation. I did everything by the book, like everything that they wanted me to do, because they want quotations of everything. So I submitted 2 quotations of everything, right? It's 3 years later. I've got the client number. I've got the CTA number. However, I'm not getting help. Yeah, that's about it. That's my story in a nutshell. So I don't know who's going to help us. I just put my trust in God, because as it is, I took everything that I had, invested in my business with the hope, because I was always optimistic, always positive, and even now I'm still selling my products. I was optimistic that they were going to help. However, I lost all the things. I lost like half of my life in the process while I'm waiting for them. Where else you see people being helped on social media, 3 months down the line, they're no longer there. So I'm not sure what system they follow to give people funding. I got and right now I need someone to explain to me why my TTA number is not honored. Where else they went and advertised asking to submit quotation for machinery. Where else I submitted those things 3 years ago. Why are they not taking those files, that they have on their desk, or maybe they I don't know. But fortunately, I've got emails. I have it also. Copies. I've sent copies to friends, to family. So I don't know.
All right, Lcci, I'm just gonna have to cut you, and of course we do talk. I remember the last message you sent me. It's how Seda broke your heart, but you are just confirming the fact that they are not out there to fund businesses. They are out there to channel money. And that's what we have observed. There are these people who get funding, they just go and buy a car, they do not buy any equipment. and nothing happens, to them. And one of the things that is coming to mind, because now we must work as a team. You asked, what are we going to do? I'm going to become a pastor now. Apparently, there was a group of people who were thrown out of the city because they had leprosy. They set out there and they realized they were going to die out there. If they go into the city, they were going to be killed. And they said, we are marching into the city irrespective. And that's what we're going to do. No God in heaven is going to do anything for us. We're going to do it ourselves. We're going to march in and make it happen. And it's these systems that we want to set up. So as we are talking, one of the things that I'm getting is that we need videographers, all these people who are going to capture these stories. So we'll also announce how we're going to be talking regularly on various shows. But we need to capture this story, my journey through hell, because that's what we have been through. I saw the hand from Dili and I saw the hand from Mabusela. Dili, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, President.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dili. I'm from Lcci. I also have an experience with Seda that's not good. The thing is, I have 3 applications that were approved, but till today I haven't received anything from Seda. It was for funding, business funding, small business funding, but even today I haven't received anything, and I have those reference numbers. Every time I inquire, they'll be like, no, it's still in process, and then we'll get back to you, but nothing up to this far. It's been given, and it's just not me around where I'm staying. It's a lot of SMEs that are experiencing the same problem. So it seems like it's a norm for Seda to be doing this thing. And there was an instance where there was this application for small business. This was for Baba Pam, what is that thing? To fund them just added to equipments. And then those equipments, we saw them arriving. And to our surprise, one of the SMEs saw the guys in Seda's office sharing those kitchen equipment themselves. They never arrived to the SMEs. So yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, that is said, and we really hope the portal is going to help. We already have someone who volunteered, Mr. Njov, to develop and assist us with the portal. The challenge is that most of the people don't want to speak. They're afraid of being victimized. We have been victimized already. Even if they give you funding, it's not going to do anything. You are victimized. Mr. Mabusel. Mabuel.
Mr. President, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, you are audible.
Thank you very much, and greetings to everybody. It is so painful, but my small piece of advice to you, please. In the process of you being frustrated, just as everyone is careful not to say the things that they might use against you and deflect the whole discourse from the on air. So that is my small advice. I can hear the anger, I can see the anger, which is justified. I don't know if I'm still there, President.
Yes, you are audible.
It is so painful that I'm saying that.
It's audible.
Sorry?
You are audible.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. It is so painful that after everything that you have done, particularly on the ground, engaged with the stakeholders in the communities in which this incubation center was meant to be erected, and you will have from the authority. So let's take them first. Let's take these people ahead, or let us remove all incompetent people from the institutions of government, because government by law is supposed to be, and this is one of the equation is probably one of the most important instrument which would go far in dealing with poverty in the affected areas where the incubation is meant to be built. So
All right. and we will be engaging with you so that you know how we move. So we'll be having various media platforms that we use to share with the information. At this point in time, you know where we are. We are still in continuing with the incubation. The incubation is not closed. We will continue. We will use our own money. And any sponsor that is willing to come on board and assist will appreciate that. So we're not down, and we're actually now rising seriously. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your holidays.